The story begins with the fight against the Lunar Fairy, where the Sword Emperor gets saved by his sworn brother Moon-splitting Swordsman as his sword cuts through the heavens, raining down 9 strands of sword energy. 6 years after the incident, everything changed at Waryong Manor, where the little kid of Yeonmu Ryong from his second wife is constantly tortured by his stepmother as her kids watched and laughed at their half-brother, except for the eldest one. The Sword Emperor Hyunam was visiting the place of his sworn brother with his whole family, which consisted of his wife, son, and daughter. His son was quite surprised after realizing the downfall of his uncle Yeon, since his 9 Heavens sword technique was able to match up to their clan's techniques. The first wife of Yeonmu Ryong, Baekmiju, was so cunning that she didn't want to reveal her stepson to the world, as she only focused on how to set up her son Mubik with Hyunam's daughter Nangong Yeon, since his husband wasn't able to transfer his techniques anymore. When the whole family arrived at the manor, Nangong Chun's sister was nowhere to be found as she stumbled upon hurt and worn out Yeon Jiaka with his arms set towards the sky. Baekmiju proposed to the Nangong clan leader for their children's marriage, but Yeonmu Ryong was concerned about something else. He knew that his health was deteriorating so fast, so he wanted his sworn brother Hyunam to listen to his request. Meanwhile, Baekmiju asked Hyunam to get her son under their guidance, and soon after that, Yeonmu Ryong was taken to the physician. On the other hand, Lady Nangong Yeon gets introduced to Yeon Jiaka, and she knew that something wrong was going on and promised to protect him. When Lady Nangong Yeon was spending time with Yeon Jiaka, some Nangong guards took them back to the manor. While lying down sick on the bed, Yeonmu Ryong explained everything to his sworn brother, including the part where the 9 Heavens wise woman mirror did not show up and him abandoning his son for his wife's death. As he will die sooner or later, he left the responsibility of his children to Hyunam's hands. Meanwhile, Lady Nangong Yeon could guess the stepmother's involvement regarding the state of Jiaka's condition after meeting her eyes. When Yeonmu Ryong died in July of that year, Baekmiju called in 20 warriors from her home, naming the White Tiger Squad, and locked Jiaka in a warehouse where his father's belongings were, while her son went to the Nangong clan to learn their techniques. Surprisingly enough, he found an abandoned mirror that reflected the same figure as him, which spooked him greatly. Even the winters passed when Jiaka was locked inside the winter with a small portion of food when the guards believed that he would die soon. He wasn't afraid of the figure in the mirror anymore, and he learned all the techniques it would show him to do so. One day, he recognized the techniques that the figure was showing were the 9 Heavens arts, and he saved himself from the winter by just learning that alone. The figure revealed that it was the true mirror of Jiyushin Fairy, which was teaching him the heavenly inquisitive sword technique. The secret technique that wasn't passed to anyone since his father died in a bad state was passed down to him slowly, and he perfected it for 10 years living inside the warehouse. After 10 years, Yeon Mubik returned home to his mother with Chun and his sister Nangong Yeon after finishing his training. When Lady Nangong Yeon instantly came looking for Jiaka, Baekmiju gets the news of Jiaka as he was missing from the warehouse. It seems the day before, when Jiaka finally finished learning all his techniques, he was guided by the mirror to leave his cage. After spending 10 whole years in the dark warehouse, Jiaka sees the sky and birds for the first time, which felt like a rebirth to him. But Baekmiju was confident that the boy wouldn't survive outside, as he has no knowledge of being a grown-up. When the news of Jiaka going missing goes public, Mubik confronted her mother after 3 days as no results were coming up. The lies of his mother wouldn't have been cleared if Lady Nangong Yeon didn't find her words suspicious. Lady Nangong Yeon found the warehouse where Jiaka was being kept, and she decided to inform her father about the incident, which could start a war between both clans. Mubik stood on his feet flabbergasted while Jiaka stumbled upon the same guard who locked him inside the warehouse 10 years ago and ran, thinking he was going to lock him up once again. However, when the guard was about to get crushed down by the iron gates, Jiaka saves the man with his ultimate strength using his hands. After getting out of the warehouse, hungry and tired, Jiaka feeds up on wild mushrooms, which ends him up in a pretty bad state as he gets unconscious at night wandering in the forest. In the morning, 2 of the bandits find him in the forest, and since he was in a worse state than them, the leader Pang Yeon-cho decided to take him in. They took him to Mount Wufeng hideout of theirs as they offered him food and guidance. When Jiaka was hesitating to join the bandits, Pang Yeon-cho decided to educate him and gave him hope of being willing to do better in life, which nobody had ever done for him. Jiaka released everything that was piled up inside him, which split the clouds and fog. It was the mark of a new beginning for him. He learned everything from the brothers, starting from survival to everything else in his life. Even though the days weren't perfect with them, Jiaka never felt alone and unhappy ever again. Then one day, the recruiters of the Bandits Union arrive at Mount Wufeng with the hopes of recruiting people under the Shattering Heavens Demon Lord. Even though they didn't want to recruit Mount Wufeng bandits at first, but after considering the situation, they recruited them as replacements and ordered them to gather 4 more people. The recruiters didn't think that they would last more than 2 months, but their expectations were way off as they grew each and every day. Gyaka's wish to join his brothers on their mountain travels kept on growing, so he started training with a twig in his hands to polish his skills. After some time, they gained 3 more people, but one of them demanded to fight with Gyaka to get up to the 7th rank. Lee Chul-san thought of Gyaka as a weak opponent judging his outlook, but he didn't know how far Gyaka was able to go to reach his goal. The unnerving strength of Gyaka caught everyone's attention, but no one caught the glimpse of his fist meeting Lee's body as he dropped to the ground when the 9 Heavens Kai awakened. Gyaka gets the sword of the elder brother as a gift for joining the mountain trips, and Tak Hyungnim decided to teach him his exorcism sword technique. Then the next day, when Kang Woo-deok was guarding a well-conditioned merchant for the Union, the arrows of Mount Wufeng bandits started raining on them. He was able to destroy all the arrows in the mid-air, and the skills of the bandits were no match to his skills. When Peng Yeon-cho wanted to give his group time to flee while he distracted the swordsman, Gyaka stood in front of all his brothers to protect them as they all got confused in the back. Kang Woo-deok didn't know the man he was facing in front of him, and when he jumped in the air to split him into 2 pieces, his sword gets severed. The ultimate skills of Gyaka didn't go unnoticed by the professional. He decided to bow down and surrender. When Peng Yeon-cho asked Gyaka to demonstrate his skills, he used it to slice a tree in half, calling it the exorcism sword technique, which mesmerized everyone, including the only female member in the group. 5 Peak Mountains were dominated by Mount Wufeng bandits, as none of the escort warriors in the Merchant Union were able to go against Gyaka's skills. Rumors like that spread throughout the whole continent, and people came from various places to join the stronghold. The stronghold grew bigger in time, and the popularity of Gyaka didn't get unnoticed by Shim and his sworn brother Beak, who are the notorious demons in Henan province. They thought they were enough to be the new chiefs of the stronghold if they were able to beat Gyaka from his place. Then one day, everyone gathered in the 5 peak strongholds to join the rank fight that was arranged by the Mount Wufeng bandits. But none of the people present in the crowd were wanting to go against the bandits on the leaderboard, except for the 2 skilled fighters and 3 men of theirs. When the announcement started, the 5 of them revealed that they all were aiming for number 1, as they are the notorious martial masters within Henan province. Since they were all targeting Gyaka, he came into the front line with his stance, which alone scared the men shitless. After seeing the boy face to face, the elders were all scared, and they kept sending their juniors to face Gyaka first. Some of them faced him with bare hands and some with weapons, but they all fell down almost instantly. Not only that, but also Beak Jio wasn't able to do anything with his unbeatable fan, which used to crush boulders, so Shim decided to step off from the competition. The news of Shim Yonggak and Beak Jio joining the stronghold reached Hejia village, Nanyang Merchant Union, to Lee Muryong, who decided to gather his men and attack the bandits of Mount Wufeng. Suddenly, one night the stronghold got attacked with the fire arrows thrown by the Merchant Union armies, but Peng Yeon-cho decided to stay put and build another wall around the stronghold. When Lee Muryong noticed that it wasn't enough, he started destroying the new wall with his axe, which finally brought Gyaka outside. Gyaka, despite being a kid, he had unbelievable strength, which felt ungodly to the heavenly swordsman as he felt each hit against his sword. The battle between Gyaka and Muryong went insane as Muryong decided to hit Gyaka with his most powerful move, Unchanging Noon, to finish him in one blow. But surprisingly, Gyaka was able to block it with his sword and hit him back with the same move he had just seen seconds ago. Gyaka used it better than Muryong did, which sliced him off in various places as he went down on the ground paralyzed. The sight of Gyaka was witnessed by the Mansu Merchant Union leader Sang Muchun himself, and he knew that he wasn't enough to defeat the young bandit alone. So, he decided to go to Huguang province with precious Longjing tea leaves to meet his master Wudang sect's elder, Sage Chunjai, in Wudang Mountain. He believed that the young bandit will be frail against the direct disciple of the Wudang sect, and that his fall will bring down the 5 peak strongholds immediately. Meanwhile, when Gyaka was enjoying a trip with 2 of his juniors close to the Mansu Merchant Union, the girl named Sobik started getting harassed by one of the hooligans. Gyaka counted 1 to 10 for the hooligan in front of him, but since he wasn't interested in listening to him, he gets smeared on the ground instantly. Suddenly, the master of Sang Muchun, Sage Chunjai, goes face to face with Gyaka while he was busy beating the hooligan in front of him. But surprisingly enough, Sage Chunjai doesn't go on the offense or anything and goes on his way without even talking to Gyaka once. But before going on his way, Gyaka could detect the ominous aura that was all around the master. Then Gyaka's cunning junior Kion used her chances to make him promise to get martial arts taught by him along with the girl named Sobik. When Sang Muchun was returning to the Merchant Union's place, he explained the situation to his master, but he was able to notice the hole in the story. Sage Chunjai was able to guess that Gyaka isn't the destroying demon lord's disciple since he loves to boast, but Sage Chunjai was grateful to meet a martial arts genius like Gyaka. 3 days ago, when Sage Tihyo came with precious Longjing tea from Westlake to Sage Chunjai, he knew that he was about to reveal some crucial information. But when the matter of unorthodox Mirim came up into the equation, Sage Chun-Jai wanted to do the subjugation of the five-peak stronghold on his own presented by the divine teacher. Sage Chun-Jai didn't believe the nonsensical rumor about Gyaka and wanted to raise him as a Wudang sect's disciple to make him the Wudang Sword Supreme. Meanwhile, when Peng Yoncho was building the Harmony Pavilion of Five Peak Stronghold, Gyaka was busy training Kion and Sobik martial arts. When Gyaka was focused on meditation and breathing, he again meets the same figure he used to see in the mirror in his deeper consciousness as the vague concepts were becoming only clearer. When Gyaka returned to the Five Peak Stronghold with Kion and Sobik, Peng Yoncho announced that Sage Chun-Jai announced that he was going to attack the stronghold. Almost everyone from the stronghold ran away while the main bandits in the stronghold stayed contemplating what to do against a monster like Sage Chun-Jai. One by one, everyone left the stronghold except for 10 members including Lee, Kion, and Sobik. When Peng Yoncho asked Gyaka for ideas, he asked him if Sage Chun-Jai can cut someone with a leaf or not. Peng Yoncho thought maybe Gyaka would have enough time to hold Sage Chun-Jai off and the others will attack him together at once, but he didn't want to put Gyaka in danger. Thinking of saving the children and everyone around him, Peng Yoncho decided to finally disband the Five Peak Stronghold, but his remaining 10 members including Gyaka decided to die together with him as they stood beside him. Peng Yoncho was thankful for everyone that was still standing beside him and made them all his sworn family. In the morning, Gyaka seemed to lack sleep and even he was worried as he didn't know if he can win against someone like Sage Chun-Jai. Since Peng Yoncho and Gyaka both weren't sleeping, they decided to have a duel to loosen up their muscles. Just when they were about to have a conversation together, Sang Muchun of the Mansu Merchant Union made his announcement to make the stronghold surrender. Peng Yoncho wasn't going to let Gyaka carry all the burden himself, so he got into the front line in order to provoke the men. When the speech of Peng Yoncho felt too disrespectful to Sage Chun-Jai, he decided to take a bash at Peng Yoncho, but Gyaka wasn't going to let his chief, so he went head-on against him. All the fear and pressure that was weighing Gyaka down vanished almost instantly as Sage Chun-Jai felt an incredible power that his opponent carried. Gyaka didn't seem to care much about the personality of his opponent as he felt a strong power from the clash, but he let Sage Chun-Jai know that he is stronger.